Previous videos in this series discuss the regulation of new development, including the construction of new buildings in the special flood hazard area. But what happens when the owner of an existing building located in the special flood hazard area wants to make improvements to his building? Local floodplain management ordinances also regulate improvements, repairs, and reconstruction of existing buildings in the special flood hazard area. These regulations are the subject of this video. We will address what is considered a substantial improvement to a building, how to determine if a building has been substantially damaged, how to determine the market value of a building, and how to estimate improvement or repair costs. These key terms and acronyms will be used during this presentation. You can find the terms and their definitions at the web address on screen. The National Flood Insurance Program defines substantial improvement as any repair, reconstruction, or improvement to a structure for which the cost equals or exceeds 50% of the market value of the structure before the start of construction. Substantial improvements can include remodeling projects, building additions, or rehabilitation projects. If a building is being substantially improved, it becomes subject to the requirements of the community's floodplain management regulations. In the case of most buildings, this will require that the building's lowest floor, including basement, be elevated at or above base flood elevation. Although elevating a building to comply with this requirement will result in additional expense, it is also one of the most effective means of reducing the risks of future flood-related damages. Closely related to the definition of substantial improvement is that of substantial damage. Substantial damage is defined as any damage that occurs to a structure, regardless of the cause, where the cost to repair the structure to its pre-damage condition equals or exceeds 50% of the market value of the structure prior to the damage. If a structure is substantially damaged, it must be repaired in compliance with the requirements of the community's floodplain management regulations for new buildings. As was discussed in the previous section on substantial improvements, this will typically require elevating the structure's lowest floor to or above base flood elevation. Owners of historic structures located in the special flood hazard area who wish to undertake a construction project that would qualify as a substantial improvement may be exempt from complying with the community's floodplain management regulations for new buildings if three conditions are satisfied. First, the historic structure must be registered on either a national registry or a federally certified local or state inventory. Second, the improvements or alterations must not preclude the structure's continued designation as a historic structure. And third, all possible flood damage prevention measures must be incorporated into the project, such as relocating all mechanical and electrical equipment above the base flood elevation. To determine whether a structure has been substantially damaged or whether a project will result in a substantial improvement to a property, the local community must first determine the structure's market value. Market value is typically defined as the amount an owner would be willing but not obliged to accept, and a buyer would be willing but not compelled to pay for the structure. The market value of a structure can be obtained from a number of different sources, which include an independent appraisal by a licensed appraiser or the tax-assessed value minus the value of the land. The NFIP considers the cost of improvement to a structure to be the fair market value of all materials and labor involved with the project, and the cost to repair a damaged structure to be the cost required to restore the structure to its pre-damage condition. Even if materials or labor are donated or discounted, or if the property owner intends to do some of the work himself, the fair market value of the materials or labor should be used to determine the cost of improvement or repair. These costs may be obtained from sources that include a contractor's itemized repair estimate, the NFIP proof of loss statement, or qualified repair estimates from the community's building department. Items that are excluded from the calculation of the cost of improvement or repair include plans and specifications, survey costs, permit fees, debris removal, including hauling fees, landscaping, sidewalks, and fences. Several issues commonly arise when estimating the cost of improvements or repairs. First, when calculating the cost to repair a damaged structure, it is important to include all costs required to restore it to its pre-damaged condition, even if the property owner does not intend to make all repairs at that time. Also, the cost of any additional improvements to the structure that the property owner intends to make, along with the repairs, must be included in the total cost of the project. Second, property owners will sometimes try to avoid reaching the 50% threshold by applying for a permit for only part of an improvement project, then later applying for a second or even third permit to finish the project. FEMA, however, requires that the entire improvement project be counted as one, even if it is accomplished through several permit applications. Third, a property owner may carry out several different repair or improvement projects to the same structure over several years without triggering the need to meet current standards. This has the potential to greatly increase the total damages incurred in a future flood event. To avoid this, a community may include in their regulations a provision for counting improvements and repairs cumulatively. Cumulative substantial improvement and repair provisions will be addressed in more detail in Video 17. A common challenge for owners of substantially damaged structures is the expense of complying with the community's floodplain regulations. However, buildings covered by a standard flood insurance policy may benefit from what is known as Increased Cost of Compliance Coverage, or ICC. When an insured building sustains a direct physical loss due to flooding and the community determines that the building has been substantially damaged, ICC coverage can provide up to $30,000 towards the cost of bringing the structure into compliance with the community's floodplain management regulations. ICC coverage can be applied to the cost to elevate the structure, move it out of the special flood hazard area, or to demolish it. However, in order to be eligible for ICC benefits, the building must be located in the special flood hazard area identified by the community's firm. Buildings located in zones B, C, or X are not eligible for ICC benefits. Today, you have learned how the NFIP regulates improvements and repairs to existing buildings in the special flood hazard area through the concepts of substantial improvement and substantial damage.